When I took over as Southampton manager back in season 1, I had dreams of taking the Saints into Europe. But of course, every ambition and project comes with adversity. After season 2's heartbreaking EFL Cup final loss to Manchester City, we missed out on qualifying for Europe that way. But what a response. Come the end of the season, a 5th place finish gave us Europa League football. We went to the quarterfinals for season 3. And the way we responded to adversity was as good as it gets. An FA Cup final appearance for the first time in 20 years saw us win our first major honour in almost 50 as Gareth Bale, product of the Southampton Academy, back at St Mary's, scored 2 equalisers, one in normal time, one in extra time, and a winning penalty. In 3 years with Southampton, we gave them 2 domestic cup finals, their first major honour in almost 50 years, and back-to-back seasons of finishing in the top 7 and qualifying for a European competition as well. The side we assembled in 3 years was superb. We developed the players we inherited so well as Salisu, Perot, Ward-Prowse all became certified Premier League top players, and the talent we developed after signing in the names of Ademola Lookman and Ritso Dan saw us become a 4.5-star team. But I felt realistically it was time to move on. And there were a few clubs that were interested in me in the summer, and the club I decided was the best fit was the team that finished directly below us in the table after a shambolic season for Chelsea. They sacked Thomas Tuchel in the summer and were looking for a replacement. An 8th place finish in the Premier League, knocked out of the semis in the EFL Cup, embarrassed by relegated West Brom in the last 16 of the FA Cup, and dumped out of the first knockout round in the Champions League too. Chelsea inquired about my availability back in season 2. I said the timing wasn't right. But now the stars had aligned. Chelsea offered me the job with so many problems at Stamford Bridge. And I said, let's keep the blue flag flying high. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 56, and today we are returning with a brand new season as season 4 is about to get underway, and for the first time in the save, we have moved teams. I've gone from the South Coast to London as I take over at Stamford Bridge with a Chelsea side, which is the perfect fit for our next step in the project, for realism and a challenge as well. Now, as I run you through the team, I am so excited for this project because I've never managed Chelsea before. Can you believe this? I've been doing FIFA career mode videos for over a decade on YouTube, but I've never once used Chelsea. Well, now it's the perfect time and the perfect fit, and I simply cannot wait. And look at this as I'm running you through the side. It is the perfect team to move on to next for realism, the project, and the challenge as well. Chelsea right now, off the pitch in real life, have got a lot of uncertainty because of the sanctions on Abramovich. No one knows what's going to happen at Chelsea this summer and as the immediate seasons follow. And in the game, whilst they might not have any financial sanctions, on the pitch they had a disastrous season last year by their high standards, and even off the pitch, they are in trouble, because as I run you through the side, you will see there's a lot of ageing players in this team that need to be shipped on. And speaking of being shipped on, guys, count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes on for a while. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 players have their deals up come the end of the season and are about to walk out the door on a free transfer. Chelsea right now are in a bit of a pickle, to say the very least. So I decided to meet with the players one by one and say, right, do you want to stay or do you want to leave? There's going to be a rebuild here at Stamford Bridge in the summer, but I wanted to keep a few of the players, particularly the youngsters. Levi Colwill, the youngster out on loan at Huddersfield Town right now, and Brooking, both got extensions, as did Billy Gilmore, out with the Canaries this season in real life, of course. He also got a contract extension as well. He's developed into an 80 rated midfielder in the game right now, and still in his early 20s. Jose Gaya, the Spanish left-back who's now here, moving on from Valencia, I decided to give him a new 2-year extension as well to stay at Stamford Bridge for the meantime, as competition with Ben Chilwell. Speaking of which, he also got a new deal. He's 2 years younger than Jose Gaya. The former Fox is the same rating as well. He's staying. I'm a big fan of Chilwell, and he'll be staying at Stamford Bridge for my tenure here in West London. But as for the other players, Reece James out of the academy, he was always going to get a new deal. One of the best right backs in the game right now. 87 rated, only 24 years old. Again, product of the Chelsea academy. He, of course, was going to be staying here, as was Edouard Mendy. You guys know I love this guy. His story is so inspirational. He might be 32 years old, but 87 overall, one of the best goalkeepers in the game. He's staying as our as our current shot stopper between the sticks. And of course, I couldn't let this guy go. Kai Havertz, 24 years old, 91 overall, gave him a pay increase to stay. There'll be no European football in West London this year, but Havertz at 91 overall, I had to keep him here, albeit through a pay increase. But the players that are going, oh my goodness, there are some big names here that I'm going to let go on a free. You've got Emerson, the left back. Bakayoko is going. Ziyech at 81 overall is going, as is Kepa as well. Jorginho is going to leave too, as is Sarr as well. So I'm not keeping everyone. I'm keeping a few of the first team players and a couple of youngsters as well, but I'm going to let quite a lot of players go with Chelsea. To put it plainly, we had a big squad we inherited at the end of season 3, but heading into season 4, my first official season at Stamford Bridge, we will see the squad we've got. It's about as thin as it gets. So as the new season would begin, you would have seen that Thuram and Dembele are going to arrive on transfers for the new campaign. Our budget for our first season at Stamford Bridge is just shy of £200 million. No financial problems in the game. They've sorted all that out. The problems for Chelsea are on the pitch primarily. And you see their objectives my first season in charge at Stamford Bridge. There's no grace period. Nope, I've got to get straight to work. Win the domestic double. Okay, alright. I mean, that wasn't what I was going to try and do in season 1, but fair enough. I guess because there's no European football, it could prove to be a blessing in disguise. We've got no midweek European fixtures this season. We can put all our eggs in our domestic competitions. But, I mean, season 1 with this team, it's pretty old, I'll be honest. There's a lot of ageing players here. Kante, Mendy, Ginter, De Vrij, Lukaku, all in their 30s. Firmino, Jose Gaia's 29. I mean, it's quite an old team, I'll be honest. And there's still quite a few players that have their deals up coming the end of this season as well. And we've only got 25 first-team players now on the back of releasing about 14 at the end of season 3. So, I mean, you know, I'll give it my best shot. My plan for season 1 at Stamford Bridge was get them back into European football. Get them back into the big time. Get them back into the Champions League. If we can go far in the Cup and possibly be an outsider for the title race, great. But I wasn't planning on winning a domestic double in season 1. But that is what the board have given to me as their objectives. It explains why Thomas Tuchel was let go. It explains why they wanted me back in season 2. And it explains why they've given me the job. Chelsea, as we know, are a team that chop and change their manager after 2 or 3 years. Periodically, we've seen it, you know, throughout the history in the Premier League era. Chelsea chop and change their managers just like that. So it kind of makes sense that Tuchel was let go after 3 or 4 years. But they've given me a short period to work with this Chelsea team, and I've got to get to work straight away. I've got to win the domestic double in season 1, otherwise I might not survive heading into our second season at Stamford Bridge. So yeah, I decided to give some new contracts to Chelsea Academy graduate Ethan Padu, Vale, the young winger that's so good, and of course Trevor Chalobah at 80 overall. He'll get some game time this season, no doubt about that. Also RLC as well, now 28 years old, 78 overall. Never really became the player he could have been machine, but he's still a decent squad player to have, so I'm keeping Loftus-Cheek here. And the other player I gave a contract to was Stefan de Vrij. Now, I know he's 32 years old, and in the final year of his contract, ordinarily I'd look to let him go, but Chelsea always seem to have one or two aging centre-backs. Right now, of course, they've got Thiago Silva, of course, so I'm going to keep de Vrij here, mainly for realism, and also this guy as well. I mean, the jury's out on how long Romelu Lukaku's going to stay at Stamford Bridge after returning to Chelsea after all the years from his big move in the summer from Inter Milan. I mean, it only took him a few months to cause controversy back in West London, but I'm keeping Lukaku here. I've always been a big fan of the Belgian. He's staying with me. 3 players on the transfer list: Pomicao, also Roberto Firmino as well, who I'm prepared to let go in Season 1, the former Liverpool and Hoffenheim man. But as for new signings with Chelsea, we are going to undergo a major rebuild in this summer window. Out with the old, in with the new and the young, as we look to assemble a new core with the Blues in West London. And my first signing as Chelsea manager, a former Southampton player. But don't worry, I'm not going to sign all the former Southampton players, just a couple, including my best 2 youth products, no doubt about it. This guy was out on loan in Germany last year. He came out of the academy with potential to be special. Kepa's been released. We need a new backup goalkeeper for Mendy. Is there anyone better to be understudied than this guy? Hector Busquets, welcome to Stamford Bridge. His potential's been downgraded to exciting prospect, but at 19 years old and already 76 overall, with 85 kicking already. Busquets, I believe, is going to be one of the best goalkeepers in world football in a few years. He'll be learning under Edouard Mendy. Hector Busquets in from the Saints as my first signing as Southampton manager, as Thuram and Dembele, the French wingers, both arrive as well. This is the squad we've inherited with Chelsea. It's small. There's quite a few aging players that will need to be shipped on or replaced long term as well. It needs a change. It needs a rebuild. And in our first season, we've got to do it all. Plus win a domestic double as well. Realistically, this was the right team to move to. The challenge is going to be immense and the rebuild is going to be big. I literally cannot wait for my first stint as Chelsea manager in all the years I've been doing career mode videos. I can't wait to use this team and see if I could possibly bring the glory days back to West London. But as we know, as Chelsea manager, you only get a couple years, possibly 3 at most. There's a short window in which for me to operate. I've got to get to work straight away, rebuilding this side in the summer window and looking to assemble a squad that can possibly win major honours once again. Right from the very get-go. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Massive thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, if you have used, like, much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. Hope you're as excited as I am for the next chapter of this series, and do not miss the next episode. The rebuild begins, and it's gonna be amazing, the amount of change to this Chelsea team. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode as the rebuild begins at Stamford Bridge very soon.